I'd like to call Thursday, October 11th meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Fallis?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Sturgill?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Pledge of allegiance.
To lead the pledge at this board meeting tonight will be sixth grade student Brianna Fernandez. She has 3 siblings, Cedric Fernandez, Tredan Fernandez, and Brandon Fernandez. Her mom is here tonight. She has earned honor roll every quarter since she entered kindergarten. She has almost perfect attendance. Her hobbies include reading, drama, histories. She loves novels, loves fruit salad, cream cheese pie, it's her favorite family recipe. And she's going to be leading us tonight on the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members, Superintendent Tom Tucker. This evening, I will be speaking on the origins of Hispanic Heritage Month. National Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates and recognizes the contributions Hispanic Americans have made to American society and culture, and to honor 5 of our Central American neighbors who celebrate their independence in September. National Hispanic Heritage Month has its origins in 1968 when Congress passed Public Law 9498, which authorized and requested the President to issue an annual proclamation designating the week including September 15th and 16th as National Hispanic Heritage Week, by directing that this week should include September 15th and 16th. This law celebrated Hispanic Americans and the anniversaries of independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, as well as Mexico's independence on September 16th. Between 1968 and 1988, Presidents Nixon, Ford, Carter, and Reagan issued a series of annual proclamations that designated a week in September, including September 15th and 16th as National Hispanic Heritage Week. These proclamations celebrated the contributions of America, of men and women, to Hispanic origin, as well as recalling the week of the early Spanish explorers and settlers. In 1988, Congress passed Law 100-402, amended the previous law, and established National Hispanic Heritage Month. The President was again authorized and requested to issue an annual proclamation designating the 31-day period, beginning September 15th and ending on October 15th. The National Hispanic Heritage Month, President George H.W. Bush issued the first proclamation, Presidential Proclamation 6021. For National Hispanic Heritage Month on September 14, 1989, since then, all presidents have issued annual proclamations for National Hispanic Heritage Month, which recognize the extraordinary contributions and culture of Hispanic Americans. Most recently, on September 18, 2012, President Obama issued Presidential Proclamation 8417, proclaiming National Hispanic Heritage Month for 2012 to celebrate and honor the accomplishments of Hispanic Americans.
behalf of the Lorain City Board of Education, Superintendent Tucker, and the Lorain school community, we'd like to thank you and award you this certificate of participation that you can keep and put in your scrapbook for memory of Lorain City Schools and for your fine presentation and also for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Nice job, man.
Recognition of visitors. Okay, need a motion to approve or amend the assignment minutes for the regular session meeting held on September 27th, 2012.
Motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Donagian? Yes. Mr. Fellows?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes. Old business. First hearing of the public. Reported recommendations of the treasurer.
Yes, there were two items on my document this evening. Item two, there are multiple donations on, I think, the public very much for all donations to our schools. And item one has to do with the financial recovery plan as I worked with the Board of Education over the weekend. We received a letter from our education back on August 23rd because we have a deficit this fiscal year. We have to provide a plan in all school districts to fix the deficits, and we also have the option to request a 30-day extension, which will get us past the levy of early November. So with that, I'm recommending that we request the extension plan, or extension letter for the financial recovery plan that I sent you. So I recommend approval items 1 and 2.
Motion to approve item 1 and 2. Support motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Donagian? Yes. Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Sturgeon?
Yes.
That's all I have, thank you.
Reported recommendation of the superintendent.
Dr. Brad, please come forward. Tonight's agenda, you'll notice on item 1 is Dr. Brad's resignation. I'm sorry to see him go. But certificate of appreciation. This certificate is presented to Dr. Ed Branham. On behalf of Lorain City Schools Board, faculty, staff, and the citizens of the City of Lorain, it is with gratefulness that we acknowledge and present you with this certificate for your tireless work, guidance, dedication to the education of our children, presented by the Lorain City Schools Board of Education, and a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Ed Branham on behalf of the entire school district, its employees, students. Sincerely acknowledge, honor, applaud, and celebrate the many accomplishments and contributions of Dr. Ed Branham from me. I've known him for a very, very long time. I had his children in school, and if you've ever, well, some of you have dealt with superintendent transitions, and they sometimes cannot be so smooth. He made it extremely smooth, and you owe him a debt of gratitude to that because he made my transition here very, very, very easy. So on behalf of the board and the city, we'd like to thank you.
Thank you very, very much. It was a tough journey, but it was a very pleasurable one. I think we, as a team, had quite a bit of fun throughout the past 13 months. Good luck in the future. You know, Lorain will always be in my blood, and I'll still try to have your back and look out for you, and best of luck on November 7th. We got to get it this time, guys. Thanks.
Okay, report and recommendations of the superintendent. Personnel matters. A, item 1, consider approval of the discontinuances as listed. Dr. Brennan, Julian, and Randy. Item 2, approval of new appointments. These 3 people are replacing people who have either been on a previous board agenda or have bid into a new position, so there's no additions to these. These are just replacements of people in positions that we need as listed. Item 3, consider approval of a new appointment. We're trying to build up our administrator substitutes, so we have more folks in place to help us out. Item 4, this is all the special education supplementals. As a special needs teacher in this district, you receive a supplemental per contract for the past 40 years or so, and they're all listed there on item 4. Item 5, consider approval of limited supplemental contracts. These supplemental contracts are under career tech funding. Some of these are for extra classes. For the teachers are going to do an additional class in lieu of their conference period. The clubs are clubs that are funded under career tech, and most of those are as part of their curriculum. They have these clubs. Item 5, consider approval of limited supplemental contracts as listed. These contracts listed below are for extra classes for teachers teaching in lieu of their conference period. If you teach a PSEO class by contract, you get additional money as listed. That's the post-secondary educational options class that gets college credit. 3 is safety patrols, which is part of the list that you said you wanted to keep this year. And the rest are designated supplementals that the board had discussed earlier prior to my arrival, which included National Honor Society, Yearbook, Student Council, Senior Class Advisor, and Drama Production. So that's item 5. And so I ask for approval of personnel item 1 through item 5.
Motion to approve is item 1 through 5.
Support. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Fellis?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
B, operations. Item 6 is entering a contract with Achieve 3000 for services delivered. It's listed there on what it is. It is part of a school improvement grant, and to spend that money for school improvement grant, these programs have to be on a Ohio Department of Education approved list, of which this is. Item 7, this is a ZAPS learning company, and this is a Gear Up expenditure. This is for ACT prep. In the past years, you've used Kaplan. This year, we're going to use ZAPS. So I ask approval of items 6 and 7, which are both grant funded, as listed.
Motion to approve items 6 and 7.
Support. Discussion.
Just a question. Item 7 is looks like for 40 seniors. What's our history in the past? Have we had 40 or more?
That's what it's up to if they're available to. I don't know how many have taken advantage of it in the past, but we're encouraging them to take the ACT, and this helps get them prepared for that. I could find that out and get that back to you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there were more than 40 students, if there's a contingency plan to try and accommodate those students that would be above 40.
This is part of the Gear Up, folks, so I believe we have other ones in place, but I'll find out.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. No further questions.
Roll call.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Fellis?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Now the good ones. Facilities matters. Item 8, consider approval of the adoption of the National School Lunch Week Resolution, which is an annual resolution. Number 9, consider approval of the resolution of the state-required schematic design for the new Lorain High School. The schematic design is what you saw at the last board meeting, which, as a side note, was spectacular. Item 10, this is consider approval of resolution for a locally funded initiative for the additional gym space at Lorain High School. It's as listed, and the next number of items are going to be for locally funded initiatives. A quick reminder for that is when we originally passed the bond issue, the state pays 81%, the local citizens pay 19%. That money was, as it was collected, was put in an account and it earned interest. So we have quite a bit of money, $9 million to use for what we call locally funded initiatives that the state won't pay. And you're going to see what that money was saved for. Item 10 was the, like I said, the new gym space is listed. Item 11 is for a locally funded initiative for the addition of an auditorium. And that's a good thing that we saved that money, and it was well invested because now we'll have an 800-seat auditorium that we saw last time. Item 12 is reusing and restoring the Admiral King seats. Believe it or not, the seats there are probably better made than the ones you get today. So there'll be a piece of Admiral King in the new high school. They'll be painted, and if you see a view of them, they're beautiful. Item 13, approval of a resolution to the Amendment 2 of the project agreement. As the projects went forth across the state started looking at all districts across the state that were in the project, and as it said here, they had to lower some of the sizes of buildings or the capacity of buildings due to enrollments, and this occurred at a lot of states. So this is an agreement that we made with the state to make that change. And then item 14 then, because of the locally funded initiative that was well invested then, we're buying a lot of that space back. So we're buying some more educational space at the new Lorain High School. And that's also funded out of the local initiative. And you can read through there on exactly what this is. As part of this locally funded initiative in the educational space, it actually is only going to shrink the original proposal by about 2%. It's still going to be 300,000 square feet, which is 30% larger than the current Admiral King High School. So I ask for approval of items C facilities 8 through 14.
Motion to approve facility matters 8 through 14 inclusive.
Support.
Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Superintendent. Will any of these changes in any way change the preview that was presented at the last board meeting?
No. Actually, the way to think about it is if you're building a house, you ask for everything in the world, you put it in there, and then when it comes time, after you get your original design, then you start getting the actual blueprints in the development design, then you start adjusting accordingly. But what you saw is what we're going to get, and that's important.
And one more question. Where is the money coming from for the locally funded initiatives?
It was, it's the money that the local folks paid and was put in the bank. They paid the state money first, as I understand it, and the local money went into the bank, and it was invested wisely and earned interest over the last, I guess it'd be 10 years. So that was a very wise decision on the school board at that time to do that and not use that money.
So is it fair to say that then, number one, the locally funded initiatives that we're being asked to approve will be paid for by interest money accumulated on our share of the project that we have not had to spend because the state for the last number of years has been paying 100%.
That is correct.
And they're going to continue that till their share is
completely
exhausted.
Spent down.
Okay.
Yes. It was a wise choice long ago, which is allowing us to add that extra space, add the gorgeous auditorium, and do other things that we need to do.
And the other, I guess I should have said, that expanding that, this in no way will cost the taxpayers any more money than they've already approved.
Actually, it was approved in 2001, I believe, and actually it's amazing that everything came in under budget and on time for the whole project, and because of that, we're able to do this with no additional cost to taxpayers with money that's already been approved and banked.
And so with an important levy coming up, I think we need to make clear that the money that is associated with the building project can only be used for the building project.
When it was passed back in 2001, it was a bond issue. It is locked in. It is only for building, and everything else is built, so this money can only be spent for the new Lorain High School.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Fells?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes. New business? committee reports and requests from board members. Any committee reports today?
Well, just as a reminder from the Facilities Committee that 2 weeks from yesterday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I guess that is, 1 p.m. is in the afternoon, isn't it, Mr. Tucker?
Yes, it is.
We will be having the groundbreaking for the new high school. It is open to the public, and if the weather permits, it will be outside. If it doesn't, it will be inside, but it's the kickoff, the official kickoff for probably the, you know, in my opinion at least, a game-changing event that will serve not only our children, but our children's children and their children's children, great-grandkids. That's who's going to enjoy this high school. So if you have time, please join us over at the former Lorain High School, AKA Admiral King, for this very important event.
Where exactly on the campus will that groundbreaking ceremony take place?
Well, Mr. Hawks, I guess.
Mr. Hawks is in charge of this.
So we can have a little mini public service announcement here, please.
That will be placed in the main student parking lot up where the so-called aluminum wall, in that area right there on the north side of the building.
Thank you.
And will it in any way disturb Admiral King's grave? Oh, that's because he's buried in Annapolis. Okay.
Second hearing to the public.
May I just add a comment?
You sure?
I don't know if you noticed in the paper, but a very dear woman passed away this week. Teresa Mary Sobieski. A lot of our longtime employees know who she is. She was known to many, many children as the reading lady. She did the Title I reading program, and when she retired, began tutoring children who were having reading difficulties in her home. And she will be dearly missed, and I would like that noted in the minutes tonight that she is remembered and will always be remembered. And my guess is that the literacy rate in heaven will take a sharp increase in the near future. Thank you.
Okay, the next board meeting will be October 25th, 6:30 here at Jacinto. And I need a motion to go into executive session for A2.
Before we go into executive session to make that motion, I just wanted to personally thank Dr. Branham for all of his services to this district. In my opinion, he spent his whole career here in the classroom as a principal, as an administrator in the central office, and as a superintendent of his school district. And you know, when he came in, and Mr. Tucker talked about the transition for him, and Dr. Branham truly made the transition for this board and the school district so much easier when we were in a very difficult situation to try to move forward. So, you know, I know that was a very tough decision for him and his family to make, and you know, I certainly appreciate everything that he's done. It's been a pleasure working with you, and good luck in Florida and whatever your other endeavors will be. But thank you very much for everything that you've done for the school district.
I just wanted to say that I've had 3 superintendents, and I haven't been on the board for 3 years yet. But and you were my second, and I've only known you for a year, but you really made it pleasurable and a teaching experience. I mean, I felt very comfortable with you, and I guess I just think of a saying that Mitch used to say. He says, "If you're not the very best, you don't have to look far to find you." So good luck to you.
Yeah, we'll be running tours down to Florida. I've got 300 people already lined up, so.
Okay,
I just have one quick comment. Dr. Branham, on behalf of Lorain City Schools and the City of Lorain, we just thank you for stepping up to the plate when our school district and city needed someone to take the reign and lead us temporarily. And so thank you very much.
Okay, now I need a motion to go into executive session for A2.
Motion to go into executive session for A2 employment.
Support motion.
Do we have a discussion on that? Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Yep.
One quick comment. Everyone should take note, including the reporters. Mr. Tucker's hair is dark. My hair, Tom.
Ah, yes.
Good luck.
Good move.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.